Hello, introverts. Today is May 1st, and it is time to discuss The Memory Thief. It is a beautiful book and a beautiful story by Lauren Manzi. I was really excited about reading it, and as I read it, I realized that I had every right to be because it was really good. She wrote this because her mom had emergency heart surgery. They were told she might not even remember things. It was so bad. So they didn't know if her mom woke up from surgery, if she would remember them, remember anything. So it kind of put things in perspective for her, and through the recovery of her mom and like the ups and downs and everything, she realized how precious memories really are. So she wrote this book, and I absolutely love it. It's a world I've never read. It's a different aspect of things. Anyways, I love it. So I want to kind of go in and talk about the different points of the book. And I wrote some notes down. So if I look down, I'm kind of going over different questions and just cliff notes of kind of what I did during the book. So the memory thief follows Julieta. She's known as Etta or Jules, depending on who you are. Gets to call her either or. And she is gifted. Now, one thing, if you read this book, you knew at the beginning you had to kind of read what everything was. Like, what's a gifted? What's an ungifted? What's a shadow? What's a ghost? What's a sifter? And let's see, what were the other ones? Hollows, ungifted tribes, hunters. So there are so many different kinds of levels of memory, people who could do different things, different powers or whatever like that. So Julieta, I'll call her Jules because I feel like I'm one of the special people, is gifted. So she can, as a gifted, she can take memories from others and by a simple touch. So people are covered head to foot, kind of in a way like to where we are kind of are now. We don't want to touch anybody. We might get something. But this one, it was like people were up turtlenecks, everything, just to kind of keep covered so people couldn't steal their memories. So the ungifted kind of is what makes up most of society in the stone realm. So there's 4 realms. So the stone realm was ruled by Madame. I think that's how you say it. Seems pretty simple. She is a sifter. All rulers of each realm is a sifter who can basically take your memories at just looking at you. So she kind of had control over all the ungifted. And with the ungifted, they were targets for the memory thieves, the people who would go and steal the memories and sell them to the highest bidder, or to the hollows, who were the rich people of society who craved and kind of were addicted to getting memories that weren't their own, to live a different life. Like their eyes would change colors because they would have so many memories inside them, just because they don't like their life. It's boring. I don't know, but it was pretty interesting. So let me go back to Jules. She also not only could transfer memory, she also had variations. One of her variations was unreadability. No one could read her mind. The sifters couldn't go into her head and just pluck out memories. If you touched her, you couldn't take a memory from her because she was unreadable. I thought that was kind of cool. Kind of reminded me of Twilight, with Bella and Edward, in a way, how Edward couldn't read her thoughts. And another thing she found out later in the book, is that she had her best friend Pin, his gift, his variation, which was she could double memories. So if someone took a memory, she could keep it as well, so she didn't lose it. So the whole book kind of stems around Jules wanting to save her mother, who's in a coma, and this coma was brought on by her because of her stupidity of running with the shadows and getting in trouble, and her home got attacked this time around, and her best friends are with her, Joss, Caden, Pin, and it references these memories of hers throughout the whole book. So you don't really get the whole story till like halfway through to the end, but she believes that she is this horrible person. Um, she thought she was protecting her friends, but come to find out, she ended up turning them over to Madame to save her mother. Her mother meant everything to her. But in the scheme of things, of being attacked, she thought she was warding off a minder who was like the military gifted, and just slammed all these horrid memories into them. Just kept overloading with memories. We'll come to find out it was her mother, and her mother went into this coma because she was just full of all these. Her mind was basically attacked by her own daughter, and then her friends ended up dying. Like she had all this guilt on her, and it was kind of a lot for a young girl to deal with. So for 4 years, she's been dealing with these demons. And so this is kind of where the story starts, is 4 years after all that. So it's, this world is, first off, is authentic. The creativity that went into this world is beyond exciting and thrilling, and I haven't read anything like this. I remember writing that down because it's true. So getting back to the realms, so there's 4 realms. There's the stone realm. Madame is a ruler based in the capital of Krayrick, where most of the ungifted live. We hate her immediately. True. She holds auctions, selling memories to the highest bidder. So prisoners back then, people who did wrong, or thieves, would be put up on this platform, and their memories would be auctioned off, and they would end up They would end up be, I guess you would suck out so much that they end up dying. I couldn't spit that out, sorry. So that's kind of where it opens, is learning about this auction. And Jules gets this letter of basically telling her that her mom is about to be auctioned off, all of her memories, and she's going to die at Madame's hand. So she decides that she needs to go back to the shadows, the people that she ran around with 4 years ago, and ask for their help. And the shadows kind of remind me of Robin Hood, like take from the rich and feed the poor kind of thing. That with memories, the memories that were stolen from those ungifted, they would take those memories and give them back to the owner. So I thought that was really cool, that these are like the rebels, the underground rebels of memories. So she wanted to go find them. And she ended up having to use her friend Ryder, who was like, I'll take you to them, because lo and behold, she's actually running along with them too. And I'll get to Ryder in a second. So Madame is not only ruthless, but she also desires to take over all the realms, which she claims that her father was murdered, and she wants to find find the murderer, and she doesn't feel safe. So she's kind of become this tyrant of sorts. Come to find out, she ended up killing her father anyway. So she's just an all-around evil person. She has Declan on her side, who is the leader of the Desert Realm, where the military base resides in the capital, Krypton. So she kind of has all control of all the minders who go and search for all these thieves and does her bidding. And there's a coastal realm. Sorian is the ruler in the capital of Blair, where Jules and her mom lived for a time. It's the realm where there's arts, paintings, and Jules' mom was a painter. So that's kind of where some of her memories stem, is from her times being there. The Woodland realm is where Porter rules in Aravid. It is where the maths and sciences were taught. Porter is also who created the maze, the realm's prison created with obstacles to keep those from entering and exiting. It's also where rumor has it where Greer is, Jules' father and leader of the Shadows. So, let's see. So memories held the highest value in this world. Whereas in our world, it seems money rules the world. But what if memories were our currency? What memories would you give up? I'd give up probably brushing my teeth, showering. I don't really need to remember those as long as I do them. Like meaningful, like meaningless, mundane tasks or whatever. I could put those in a bank and get rid of them, make more memories that way. Would you give up the ones that gave you pain, like painful breakups, losing a loved one. For me, at the time of breakups, they bring on that pain. So usually when I went through breakups, it was like I would do anything to get rid of this pain. I just want to move on. Would I sell those memories? I don't know. I don't think I would now, because I wouldn't be who I was today without those. But at the same time, in that moment, I might. Now, losing a loved one, I don't think I'd ever want to get rid of those memories, because that person obviously meant something to you that I would never want to get rid of that. Too bad they couldn't get rid of just the pain of the memory. But the thing is when you got the memory, you had everything that involved with it. So for me, I know, let's see. Oh yeah, so if I gave them away, would I be the same person? I answered that no, which brings me to the ghosts. In an instant, they launch painful memories, fears, everything inside you, and just basically you feel trapped. They can overpower you, overtake you with these horrible memories. You can be trapped in your brain, in your head, and can't get out. The author did one heck of a job coming up with these different memory factions. What is more painful, a stab wound or a mind full of all your fears and pain? Sometimes our emotions can cause us more damage than physical ones. Agreed. Moving on to other events in this book, let's move on to Ryder. Now, I felt like Ryder was only there for convenience at first. Like, she didn't really have much of a storyline. It seemed like she was just there to be able to take Jules to the shadows, and then she just kind of disappeared until the very end. But the one thing that I do love about Ryder is that it brings, like, we understand she's orphans, but it brings a level to Jules of how much we know. It gives us that hint that Jules isn't this awful person that Jules thinks she is. She's trying to convince us that she's this horrible person, but when you have Ryder, who's this orphan, and Jules takes her in and basically cares for her and protects her, you got to know Jules is a good person, because no one just randomly adopts someone and unless they love them. So you would think. That would be my mind. But what I like about this is that at the end, she is adopted too as a sister. And there's not many fantasy books out there that there are orphans that are adopted. At least those specific words aren't used. So it's kind of nice to see that come full circle for Ryder, that she did get the family that she always had. So even though her storyline was very minimal, it was also impactful. Now let's talk about Bray. I was never a fan of him, and until the very end, I was just waiting for him to do something bad. Like when they were battling at in the square, and Greer sees him for the first time, I swore Bray was going to bring out a knife and stab Greer in the back. Like, I was just waiting for something. I just never really liked him and never really trusted him, especially him leading Reed on about his brother Penn being still alive. Like, I was questioning until the very end, and I was like, okay, well, I guess bad guys aren't always bad guys. You just don't like them. Okay, let's discuss Reed. He is the knight in shining armor. I knew from the beginning he would be the love interest to Jules. Their relationship didn't seem rushed. But for 4 days, they kind of fall for each other. But it's kind of like when you're with someone 24/7 and you're going through this stuff, it's inevitable that you're going to get close. So it flowed natural. He handled Jules' stubbornness very well, and I found it humorous how he called her out on her stubbornness. And even when Jules told him everything, he was able to twist it around and help Jules see it from a different point of view. Because let's face it, Jules was one hot mess. So I liked Reed. He was that comforting character, but he also had a lot of deep, scars in him and his family. So he did well with Jules. Now for Jules, she's young. She experienced a lot, gut-wrenching things. She needed Reed in this aspect. To help pull her out of what she always had all these years she's felt. But all these years she's thought one thing and ended up being another, like Greer being her father. Like that was huge for her. And then another jaw-dropping moment was Porter being her grandfather. Like I was expecting him to be this wretched person, ends up being her grandfather, and that was really cool. I liked those two surprises. It made me happy for her to receive that. So Porter was also the one who invented the maze. So at the beginning, they kind of like really hyped up this maze, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be great. And it kind of, I don't know, it was a letdown because we ended up just getting to walk through it with someone who already been there, who knew. And yeah, there was obstacles, but it wasn't a tenseful situation. But you know, when I think about it, that could have been a whole book, is just this maze. But I understood why she did it, just to breeze over it, because it wasn't the main plot of this book. So they got there, and that's when she got to see Greer. And I was really sad that Greer died, because she just found that it was her father. She thought he was been dead all this time, and they got to reunite, and then he ends up dying, even though it was to save her, and he did get to put those memories into his wife, Joel's mom. So I mean, it was a lovely ending how that did happen. If he was going to die, I just hated that he did. Like a part of me was really hoping that he would survive. So I am glad that the mom did survive. I don't even remember her name. Amelia? Is that what it was? Because they thought that that's who that was when she first arrived in Aravid. But I was glad that she got to come back to life. She got to have all those memories and get her daughter back. So that was really awesome. And Madame dying, just like, I felt like I was gypped kind of on how she died. Like, it was like one moment, there's a bright light, the next moment, they're in Aravid. Or, no, they're not in Aravid. They're still in Craywick. But, I don't know, I was kind of like, had a double take, like go back and read it a little bit. I'm like, did I miss something? So I felt like that was kind of rushed on explanation, but it made sense too at the same time, if that makes any sense. So how incredible would it be if we could be past someone's memories once they pass over? Having the ability to show others your memories would be something in itself, but when someone you love passes away, with a single touch, could they transfer all the memories so you don't lose who they are? There's so many stories my grandmother probably has that I would love to know. I mean, yeah, you could do that while she's still alive, but I feel like there's stuff that are just forgotten, and so many times our memories are just left into the abyss and not appreciated or enjoyed as they were in the making. So that was it's a good food for thought, is just, would you do that? Like pass on your memories, or like want to have those memories of those loved ones? Would you crave someone's memories? Take them on as your own? Live a life you always dreamed? So like the Hollows, who pay people to steal memories for them. Me, to be honest, I'd probably say yes, because not only do we get to have these memories, but we get to experience the memories. You get to feel an achievement so great from those who live in this elite bubble, like a celebrity or something. One thing about having other memories, you attain their skills. If I could touch the skin of Bruce Lee, I could have all the mortal skills. Martial arts skill. I can't read my own handwriting, and that didn't even sound right. Martial arts skills in an instance. Or a surgeon. I could perform heart surgery just by taking a memory of one of my surgeons. I mean, the endless possibilities, like why even go to school when you could just take the memory, especially if you could duplicate. That's even cooler. Being a memory thief for selfish reasons would be beyond a tempting career. That is until it bites you in the butt. The idea of losing oneself sounds awful, But if you don't know who you are, you don't really know what you're giving up. It's only really sad to see, to us, what to see when it does happen. So if we see someone losing themselves and becoming someone else, to us that looks awful. But to them, I mean, they don't remember. They think they're this amazing person and living the best life that they have at the moment. So I could see that kind of going both ways. It'd be, I don't know, I think I would crave some, but I don't know if I'd let it become an addiction though, because I do want to keep myself. I do want to be myself, and I want to have my own experiences. But if someone could, if someone took like a memory of me, like a cherished one, I would do anything to get that back. I would call a shadow to go retrieve that memory back for me. So that's kind of where it draws a line of where you would want to go. Would you be tempted to crave all these memories, or would you have consciousness of, no, I wouldn't want to lose mine, I don't want someone else to lose theirs, and that's where you're getting these memories, so then you don't become addicted. So maybe I'm glad this world of memories isn't real. I can only imagine the havoc it would create, because there are always those who would use this power and abuse it, like Madame did. The story wrapped up nicely, then it kept going, then it just ended. Overall, I love the story, and I hope you enjoy it just the same. So that might have been a long discussion, but I kind of wanted to fit everything in. I don't know what all you guys thought was interesting or what you guys liked. I wonder if she'll make another one. I don't know that's a standalone book right there. I would like to know more about the hunters and the ungifted tribe, and if he finds his family and stuff like that. I don't know. It was full of memories, of Jules' memories, and I don't know. It just was very creative. I really liked it, and hopefully you did too if you read it. So if not, then by the way, spoiler alert. The next book I have that I'm going to read, if you want to join me, you can, is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. Evelyn Hardcastle will die every day until Aidan Bishop can identify her killer and break the cycle. But every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes up in the body of a different guest, and some of his hosts are more helpful than others. So that's kind of interesting. It's like a murder mystery, like dinner mystery or whatever. Should be fun. I'm ready. I'm ready to read something else and move on, and hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day, and thank you for listening.